Here are a few practical tips to help you deal the right way with the negative feedback you may be receiving about your work from your boss. So, let's say you received an email criticizing something in your performance, or maybe you received a counseling or a warning letter, or maybe you've been placed on some type of performance improvement plan. What do you do? Well, the first question you should ask is this: is this really about your performance? Whether you agree, partially disagree, or completely disagree with the criticism. Or is there something else going on? Is your boss trying to get rid of you, and all these write-ups and criticisms are just an excuse to make it look like they're trying to do something, like they're trying to give you a chance to improve your performance? Many, if not most workers, especially workers who have been working for that employer, for that boss for a long time, they have a pretty good feeling when the boss is trying to get rid of them. So, if you know that your boss is trying to get rid of you and all that criticism is nonsense, is just an excuse, there is absolutely no point to fight that criticism or try to argue over it or try to prove to your boss or his higher-ups that the criticism is unwarranted, that it's undeserved, that you're right and they're wrong and they're lying. What's the point if you know that the company has already decided to get rid of you? What's the point of trying to prove something? You're much better off spending that time looking for another job, looking for a better job, considering maybe some type of mutual separation arrangement where you will receive some type of severance, and maybe evaluating your situation for any type of legal claim if appropriate. And that's where an employment attorney should help you evaluate. Is your company trying to get rid of you for legal reasons, not so legal reasons? Is there a claim that can be made, or is there a claim that can be leveraged to negotiate a better severance package for you? Okay, now, if you know that your criticism is warranted, even if you don't agree with it entirely, and if you don't think that the company is trying to get rid of you, that your boss is trying to get rid of you, but maybe they just have very high expectations and they want you to just perform better, they want you to do not just a good job, but an excellent job, still, you should not be fighting back and you should not be bickering with your boss about the details of your performance review, because it's not going to lead to anything good. It's not like they're going to say, oh, you're right, we're wrong, our criticism is incorrect, we made a mistake, you're perfect. It's not going to happen. So what's the best way to address a negative feedback about your work in a constructive way that will help your career, or at least help your career in that workplace? Well, the approach should be almost the opposite. You come to your employer and says, look, I respect where you're coming from. I understand I have deficiencies. I would like to work on them. Please help me work on my deficiencies. Can you show me what you expect? Can you show me how I can do this better, or how I can do that better? Can we meet every 2 weeks, or can we have a weekly meeting to check out my progress, to make sure that I'm actually improving? How many workers do you think do that? How many workers are responsible, mature, and capable enough to come out to acknowledge that they might have deficiencies in their performance, even if they don't fully agree with the criticism? And how many of them are willing to step forward and say, I want to work on this, help me, please monitor me to make sure that I'm doing as well as you want me to do? This is very rare, and many employers, many managers will find it very refreshing. And if there is a chance for you to improve, to do better, and to prove yourself as someone who is truly committed and truly cares about succeeding and make the best impression and make a sort of a lemonade out of the lemons that you received about your performance, that would be the best way to go. Now, you may be wondering, so when is it a good time to fight over performance review and try to prove that what's written is wrong or even not true? There is a limited set of circumstances when that would be appropriate. And that would generally be in a larger company where the risk of one person, one relatively low-level manager retaliating against you, relatively low, and where your performance rating really, really affects your promotional opportunities and your opportunities for a raise in your salary. And also when your performance review objectively includes incorrect data that is objectively incorrect. So let me give you an example. If somebody says that you're not a team player, you're lacking in motivation, you're not as eager, or you're not as friendly, those are subjective impressions. They cannot be quantified. Some people perceive you one way, other people perceive you in a different way. Your boss happened to think that you're not a team player. You cannot objectively disprove them. So that's not something that's worth fighting over. However, if your boss says that you sold 100 widgets and you did not meet your goals, but you sold 500 widgets and you exceeded your goals, it's perfectly fine to correct that, especially when it matters, when your performance affects your future opportunities and your future compensation. And you don't have to label it as a lie. You don't know if it was intentionally misrepresented or whether it was just a mistake. Maybe your boss messed up in his performance review. So you could bring it to his boss's attention or to HR's attention. I would like to bring to your attention a few things that are incorrect in my performance review. Okay, it says so, but I have a document that says otherwise, and I would like to show it to you. Can you please review my performance review and correct it and revise it so it will more correctly reflect my actual performance and my actual accomplishment? With the exception of those limited circumstances, in most cases, fighting over performance review is not worth it. It can only make things not better or even worse. If you know that your boss is trying to get rid of you, it's time to take action, to look for another job and see how you can wrap things up sooner than later and move on. If it's a constructive feedback that the employer really cares about, that they want you to improve and they want you to continue working at that company, then in most cases you want to encourage them to help you. You want to take responsibility for whatever deficiencies you have, and you want to show that you care, that you know there is space for improvement, and you want to improve. Thank you.